Time to talk AFL. All of our AFL news comes to you with the compliments of the Pineapple Hotel. This Sunday, of course, it's Sunday Fun Day at the Gabba. The Brisbane Lions taking on the Hawthorn Hawks, one of the games of the season. A reminder that kids go free with an adult purchased ticket. So Sunday afternoon at the Gabba, kids free when the adult purchases a ticket for the Lions and Hawthorn. And Tom Cutler is joining us from the Lions. Tom, morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, always a big game, isn't it, against such a powerhouse club as Hawthorn?
Absolutely, and given our some of our very high up members of our club and our head coach Chris Fagan, and very prestigious player in Luke Hodge and accomplished player in Luke Hodge, has spent most of their time at that club. I think that builds a little bit into it too from a fan point of view, but for us, it's another opportunity to get out there and strive for our first win, but most importantly, improve again, and which we have all season. But for those three guys, there's probably a bit more in it as well. Yeah, sure.
I was going to talk to you about Luke and just what the build-up to this game has been, and has he had more to say to the players this week than normal?
No, not at all. I don't think that'd be his style. He's very reliable every week in his leadership method, and the way he speaks to the players is very solid every week, and he's not the kind of person that would let this go to the top and make it about him. It's another game of football at the end of the day, and I think that'll be the way Luke will attack it. Like he attacks every game. He's a great competitor, and he wants to win desperately.
Tom, the last couple of weeks put in some terrific performances, but how frustrating is it to still not have that W there? We're a tick in the W column yet.
I don't know if frustrating is the right word from our point of view. Look, we're desperate to win. We're competitors, but we're in the business of improving as players and as a club, and we've done that this season. So long as we keep going on that trend, we know that the wins will come. So I guess I'm describing the process there of winning and improving rather than W's and L's next to specific games. Clearly for our fans, it would be great for us to get a win because, for better or worse, they don't see the internal scorecards that we look at during the week, and we know that we're improving as a club and as individuals, and that wins will come in the future. It'd be more so for our fan base who support us so well, and to get a win would mean so much for them at this point in time.
Well, can you give us an insight then, Tom, of what it's like then, say, for the different key indicators, if you like, or KPIs, or for, is it for various players, overall unit, depending on where you are in your career? What is Chris Fagan looking for then from various players, as I mentioned there, depending on where you're coming from as far as your career is concerned?
Definitely, we look at overall unit. I think as an individual, you break down where you want to get to with your individual coaches, more specifically in your own time. But when we come together as a unit and we talk about the key indicators, we're looking at the things that really good teams historically have been at and are good at right now. So contested balls, obviously, is going to focus on our team this season, and pressure, and our ability to use the ball and convert when we go inside 50, and then how we use the ball as well. But defensively is a massive one for us this season, and the scores that we've been conceding in the past years hasn't been at all at the standard, and this year that's improved significantly. So there's a whole host of metrics that we use, and they're trending in the right direction. And like I said, if they continue to improve, then the likelihood of us winning a lot more games also improves. So that's where our focus is at.
Well, there's only just been that real one blowout against Richmond, and I think they're going to do that to a couple of teams throughout the season. So that's been a certain positive. You mentioned contested possessions there, and how's that one thing there is so vital in the game? How do you go about working on that, improving on that?
Yeah, well, contested possession's whole ground. It's not just at the stoppages. It's everyone on the field when the ball leaves that area and it's in a neutral. The ball's in a neutral state, and you've got to go and win it. Once you do that, you can then go and give it to your teammates in a better spot. And an AFL ground's a pretty big place, so it's hard to defend everyone. So that's the idea there. It's quite simple. That's been a big focus of ours, and we lost that against the Bulldogs on the weekend. And unsurprisingly, we lost the game. But we'll be attacking that this weekend against Hawthorn, that's for sure. Because if we can get on top of that area, that gives us a leg up for the rest of the game.
Tom, it must though become really frustrating for players when you haven't won a game, but you have come close. I mean, if you have a look at a few of the games this year, against both Port and the Suns, the margin was 5 points. Against Collingwood, the margin was 7 points. Yes, they're probably the one big blowout game against the Tigers, but they're an exceptionally good side. But those other games that are so close, you must start to think to yourself, when are we ever going to get a bit of luck to go our way?
I think you make your own luck.
Yeah, you probably do, don't you?
We don't. Look, that's just how the game is. Sometimes it's random and you lose by, a matter of points. But, well, I mean, we can look at it as in, like, poor us, we're not winning by a little bit, or we can look at it and say, well, hang on, why aren't we stepping over teams? I thought about that after the Bulldogs game. We spoke as a team about, losing some of these close games. But eventually, as a club, we want to get to the point where we're crushing teams and we're beating teams by not a lot, but we're beating teams, easily, without having to come from behind in games. Like if we can put together 4 quarters of football like we want to, at our best, we'll win games. So it's not about how do we win these close ones. It's about the process of winning consistently and well, and through 4 quarters. So it is frustrating to lose close games, like no doubt. But you got to understand there might be an element of randomness in sports at times, and I guess what I'm saying is, what's the use of getting frustrated about it?
So, look, to put together 2 of the things we've been talking about, and we mentioned Luke Hodge. Now, he's been a player who at Hawthorn, he's seen the good times, he's seen the great times, but he also saw the downside of Hawthorn. So what does he say to the players when he's probably been there and done that himself? What does he say to you to keep you up?
I told his role to keep us up. His role is to drive our playing group to where we want to be and drive high standards and be a great role model and a great leader for our team. And he's done that to a T on the training track, in games, off the field. So I don't know if it's his job to keep us up. But I think you'd be surprised, if he took someone from outside, our football club, brought them into our football club, they wouldn't have guessed. They didn't know that we were 0-8. They wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Our club's an incredibly upbeat environment. We don't get, downtrodden about being 0-8. We stay upbeat. We want to win games. We want to stay improving. So we're not about getting down in the dumps after this sort of start. That's not important. What's important is we improve, and that's Hodge's role. He helps us improve, simply put.
Okay. One of the things that you talk about putting 4 quarters together, one of them's got to be the first quarter. What is it about the starts, Tom? Just because once you settle into the game, it seems as if you're matching it with everyone. But just give us an insight there into the start of the game, and is that something that's been spoken about by Chris?
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't know why it is we don't start well. If we knew exactly, it would be rectified. And yeah, we have spoken about it, and there's been some measures put into place. It's about treating every play, every possession, every single quarter as important as every other one, whether you're winning by 10 goals or you're losing by 10 goals. So that's on our boys to put an emphasis on every bit of play from the get-go. That's probably a simple way of putting it.
Just a couple of players I want to ask you about. Sam May's had a couple of weeks in the twos and looks like he's pretty close. How's he going at training?
Yeah, May's good. May's had a really good attitude after being, going back to the NEFL. And I'm not too sure how involved Maisie will be this weekend with the AFL team, but it's good to see him put together some good form in the NEFL, and I'm sure we'll see him back in the AFL team soon. Yeah. What
about Clay Beams and Ryan Lester? Can we expect to see them this week, do you think?
Yeah, obviously both those guys have had put together good form in the NEFL as well. So I'm not too well versed in terms of I try and just
Don't eavesdrop on those meetings, hey?
No, not at all. I'm not that high up, that's for sure. No, those guys, but those guys have been putting together really good performances, and their attitudes have been awesome. So yeah, I mean they'd be right up there for sure.
Hey Tom, one guy that he did some really good things too, and has earned his spot. And talking to guys that watch the NEFL a lot, have said that certainly deserved his spot in the team. Is Matt Eagles, of course, recruited to the club from the show The Recruit, but he settled in really well.
Yeah, Matt's an outstanding athlete. He's a great competitor. He gets packs and bodies hard. And yeah, what a story, 28, and he's making his debut in AFL footy. So our boys couldn't be prouder of Matt, but the way he earned it was fantastic, and the way he's improved as a player, and it's been awesome. So that's great to see that you can improve, at that age, at that rate. I think it should open doors for lots of other players, of more mature age to put their hand up and play.
Yeah, fantastic. It really is good, isn't it? It goes to show we've seen some good examples of mature age recruits across the game in recent years, which is good to see.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Tom, thanks for joining us this morning. Good luck for Sunday. Big game against Hawthorn. I know there'll be a big crowd there, and that win won't be too far away.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.